Who was Vlad Tepes, and why does his name echo through history? This is the question that propels us into the intriguing world of a man whose story is shrouded in myth and mystery. Vlad Tepes, also known as Dracula, was born in the 15th century in the region of Wallachia, now part of modern-day Romania. His early life, fraught with political turmoil and personal struggles, laid the groundwork for his later reign. Today, his name resonates in history, not just as a ruler but as a figure of intrigue, a symbol of fear and an icon of folklore. Known for his brutal ruling style and his unflinching approach towards his enemies, Tepes left an indelible mark on the pages of history. His life, his rule, and his legacy are as fascinating as they are controversial. Dive with us into the life of this intriguing figure as we unveil the man behind the myth. Born into a world of political intrigue and conflict, young Vlad's life was anything but ordinary. From the moment he entered this world in 1431, Vlad Tepes was destined for a life filled with power struggles and warfare. His father, Vlad Dracula, was a member of the prestigious Order of the Dragon, a chivalric order dedicated to halting the Ottoman Empire's expansion into Europe. The order's emblem, a dragon, would later lend the name Dracul, meaning dragon, to Vlad's father, and Dracula, meaning son of the dragon, to Vlad himself. Vlad grew up in Wallachia, a region fraught with political instability due to the competing interests of the Ottoman Empire, the Kingdom of Hungary, and various factions within Wallachia itself. This early exposure to political maneuvering and conflict would shape his leadership style in the years to come. Vlad's childhood took a dramatic turn when he and his younger brother were sent to the Ottoman court as hostages. This was a common practice at the time, designed to ensure the loyalty of Wallachia to the Ottoman Empire. The young Vlad spent his formative years in an alien culture, learning not only the ways of the Ottomans, but also their language and the arts of war. Despite the harsh realities of his childhood, he proved to be a quick learner and a skilled warrior. It was during these years that Vlad developed a deep-seated hatred for the Ottomans, a sentiment that would later fuel his brutal campaigns against them. But as much as these years were filled with hardship, they were also formative. The lessons Vlad learned in the Ottoman court, both in warfare and in politics, would prove invaluable when he ascended to the throne of Wallachia. His time as a hostage not only hardened him, but also gave him a unique perspective on power and leadership. These formative years shaped Vlad into a leader, one who would later become infamous. But that's a story for another scene. For now, let's remember that the boy who would become Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula, started his journey in the heart of political turmoil, forever shaping his rule and legacy. In a world of shifting alliances and power struggles, Vlad's rise to power was fraught with danger. Born into a noble family, Vlad Tepes was no stranger to the volatile dynamics of political power. His ascension to the throne of Wallachia in 1448 was a testament to his ability to navigate this perilous landscape. Yet the path to power was not smooth. Vlad was thrust into the world of politics at a young age, and his first tenure as the ruler of Wallachia was brief. The boyar families, powerful and influential, did not take kindly to this young upstart. They conspired against him, and in no time Vlad was ousted from his throne. However, in this turbulent world, Vlad was a quick learner. He knew that to reclaim his throne, he needed allies. And so he turned to the Ottoman Empire, the superpower of the time. This was a strategic move. He promised loyalty to the Sultan in exchange for military support. And it worked. After 8 long years, in 1456, Vlad returned to Wallachia, this time with the might of the Ottoman Empire behind him. His enemies were powerless against this formidable alliance, and Vlad was once again on the throne. But Vlad was not content with simply reclaiming his throne. He wanted to secure it. He wanted to ensure that the boyar families who had once ousted him would not dare to challenge him again. And so he embarked on a campaign of political maneuvering and strategic alliances, consolidating his power in Wallachia. Yet his methods were often brutal. He was known for his harsh rule, his intolerance for treason, and his penchant for impalement, a trait that would later earn him the nickname Vlad the Impaler. Having secured his throne, Vlad's reign was marked by a brutal yet effective rule. His ascension to power, his fall and his return all underscored his resilience, his strategic acumen and his iron will to rule. Vlad's reign was a time of fear, intrigue and above all, blood. The image of Vlad Tepes is often painted in the darkest shades of red, and for good reason. His rule was marked by an iron fist and a penchant for brutal and theatrical punishments. The most infamous of these, impalement, became his signature. The punishment was as much a spectacle as it was a sentence. Victims, often criminals, traitors or enemies of the state, were skewered on long, sharp stakes, their bodies left to writhe and decay as a grisly warning to others. The sight would have been horrifying, a stark reminder of the price of opposing Vlad's rule. But Vlad's bloodlust wasn't only directed inward. His reign was also marked by ongoing conflict with the powerful Ottoman Empire. Vlad was a thorn in the side of the Ottomans, refusing to pay tribute and constantly pushing back against their expansion. This defiance led to several bloody conflicts, with Vlad's forces often outmatched but rarely outwitted. Perhaps the most notorious episode of Vlad's rule was his Forest of the Impaled. As the story goes, Vlad once impaled 20,000 Ottoman prisoners on long stakes, creating a macabre forest of bodies as a terrifying message to the invading Ottoman Sultan. Whether or not the story is entirely true is a matter of debate, but it certainly paints a picture of a ruler who was as cunning as he was cruel. Undeniably, Vlad's reign was one of brutality and fear, but it was also one of fierce independence and unyielding resistance. His methods may have been extreme, even by the standards of his time, but they were effective. He held his ground against powerful neighbors, maintained his rule, and left a lasting mark on his kingdom. His cruel methods earned him the name Vlad the Impaler, and a place in history as one of the most feared rulers of his time. All reigns must end, and Vlad's was no exception. Even the most fearsome of rulers must face their downfall. For Vlad Tepes, that time came in the mid-15th century when he was overpowered by the forces of Mehmed II, the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Forced into a corner, Vlad sought help from Matthias Corvinus, the King of Hungary. But instead of receiving the expected support, he found himself imprisoned, betrayed by the very ally he sought refuge with. The world outside his cell moved on, but Vlad's burning desire to reclaim his throne never waned. After more than a decade in captivity, fate decided to throw Vlad another chance. With Matthias preoccupied with other political matters, Vlad was released from his prison. The once mighty ruler, now a shadow of his former self, returned to Wallachia to reclaim his throne. Despite the odds stacked against him, Vlad's return to power was nothing short of remarkable. He was back where he believed he belonged, back on the throne that had once been his. But this triumph was short-lived. In the year 1477, Vlad met his end under circumstances shrouded in mystery. Some say he died in battle, fighting till his last breath. Others speculate he was assassinated, a victim of the treacherous politics he was so deeply entwined with. The truth of his death remains a mystery, lost in the annals of history. His body was reportedly buried at Snargov, an island monastery located near Bucharest. But even this claim is disputed. Vlad's life was a tumultuous journey marked by power, betrayal, imprisonment, and a relentless will to reclaim his throne. His reign, while brutal and infamous, was punctuated by his unyielding spirit and his unapologetic approach to rule. Though his life was marked by conflict and cruelty, Vlad Tepes left an indelible mark on history. His tale serves as a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of power, the treachery of allies, and the relentless pursuit of one's ambitions. Vlad Tepes, a name that invokes fear and fascination. Known for his ruthlessness, he left an indelible mark on history. His legacy, however, is a complex mosaic, painted with shades of both terror and admiration. Vlad's influence stretches far beyond his time. His name served as the inspiration for Bram Stoker's iconic character, Dracula, forever entwining his story with that of the legendary vampire. His rule, though brutal, was undeniably effective, leading many to regard him as a national hero in Romania, where he is celebrated for his stern defense against Ottoman incursions. The tale of Vlad Tepes presents a fascinating study in contrasts. A man both feared and respected, a ruler both cruel and just. His story challenges us to consider the complexities of leadership and the fine line that often separates heroism from tyranny. In life, he was a prince, a warrior, a tyrant. In death, he became a legend. This was Vlad Tepes, the man behind the myth of Dracula.